Welcome to Cities on the Move. I'm your host, Stephanie Passingham. Bob Bardwell has created a fantastic ranch near Stewartville, Minnesota. He'll join us today to talk about his own inspiring life and what he's doing to make life better for others. Later in the program, we'll learn about the Sleep in a Box event held in Mason City, which raises money for the homeless shelters in town. And finally, we'll visit the boyhood farm of Dr. Norman Borlaug near Cresco, Iowa. We'll have all this and more. Stay tuned for Cities on the Move. Bob Bardwell experienced an unfortunate accident early in his life, but this amazing man didn't let that slow him down. He has realized his dream of creating a ranch near Stewartville, Minnesota that is incredible. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Bob Bardwell, and I just hail from down the road here a ways at a little town at Stewartville. Actually been there since high school back in the 60s. And we live 5 miles west of town there at a camp called Ironwood Springs Christian Ranch. Been there through all my adult kind of career. I'm married. My wife's name is Jody, and we're blessed with 4 daughters, and they just happen to be all teenagers right now. We lived in Stewartville, and we'd been searching around the area and keeping kind of our ears open, looking for some property or maybe a camp, and continuing on with our work and careers. And one day a farmer told us just 5 miles west of Stewartville that there was a beautiful stream back there and possibly a camp location and a spring. That was kind of the key. So we went out and visited this back in the early 70s. Actually, it was before my injury. And we walked back in the woods, and it was just gorgeous. And we just kind of dreamed right there and thought maybe someday this could be the beginning of Ironwood Springs Christian Ranch. In 1973, I was involved in a heavy construction accident. That, of course, changed my whole life and everything. I was on a job site about 30 miles from home when a coworker accidentally dropped a large piece of equipment on my back. And crushed my ribs, collapsed my lungs, and really destroyed my spinal cord. Should really have died right there on this site. But here I am 36 years later, seem to be doing quite well. I try to choose each day to be a victor in life rather than a victim. There's so many ways to be a victim of your situation or your circumstances or your disappointments, whatever they might be. But I just try to get up in the morning and thank God for the day, and He's given me my life, and I always check in for service with Him. The Miracle Lodge, start over again. The Miracle Lodge named itself actually after all these years of construction, but the dream for it began in the mid-'80s when we started the National Wheelchair Camp. I knew right from the beginning when we started this camp that I was in a bit of trouble because our facilities aren't very accommodating. We don't have much privacy, and a lot of them like to bring their health caregivers or families, but we started. And here we are today, celebrating it here now, the Miracle Lodge. We've had 9 years of construction and 43,000 volunteer hours of labor. People have contributed from 14 different states all over materials and help and encouragement. And so the Miracle Lodge has been open now about a year. We've got about 30 horses, so we do all types of horse events, from wagon and sleigh rides, teaching lessons. One of our wranglers teaches therapeutic riding as well. So we have a nice indoor riding arena. We got a swimming pool, tennis courts, sports fields, horseshoes, all of the above. We have a mini farm. We have 45 campsites. People can come and bring their campers, tents, trailers, and camp out there. It's just a nice outdoor environment with plenty to do. Ironwood is open to the public. Ironwood is it's a nonprofit public charity. I generally tell people that first of all, we all have challenges. In fact, when the ones you have now go away, you get new ones. The greatest destroyer of a bright future is dwelling on the past.
Well, in today's program, we're going to talk a little bit about a special event that was recently held in Mason City, Iowa called Sleep in a Box. And here to tell us all about it is Annette Banks and Joey Van Zomeren. Welcome, ladies. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this event, Sleep in a Box. What is that?
It is first was brought to our community to bring awareness of homelessness to the community and to the state. It is in several states. They do November as Homeless Awareness Month, and we chose to do an event, as I said, to bring that awareness to the community and to let them know that we're here and we're here to help.
Okay, and so this is sponsored by your organization. Tell folks a little bit about the organization in general, and then let's talk about what happens when they sleep in a box.
Okay. Trinity House of Hope has been in existence, this is 2 years. It actually started in 1999 with Northern Lights Alliance for Homelessness and Men. And we started with women, as I said, 2 years ago, seeing the need in the community for women and children needing a place to go. We decided after being in business that maybe we should bring awareness of homelessness to the community by doing an event such as this. And we really didn't know what to call it. We just kind of came up with Sleep in a Box in a Parking Lot, because that's what we actually did the first year.
Okay.
And it has grown since then. This, as you said, is our 3rd year, and we've just continued to grow each year with the support from the community and surrounding communities, and definitely the people in the community.
Okay, and this kind of works out to be a 2-night event. Tell us
Yes.
a little bit about what happens the first night and then the second.
Again, that was kind of a fluke. We went to the media just to get some support and help when we started the event, and the young man that's kind of our chair is Harry O'Neill, or Harry O, they call him. And Harry works for a radio station in Mason City, and he said, well, you know, I'd be willing to do this the first night and get the media involved, get everybody excited about it, and then, you know, if you guys wanted to bring the kids and the community and stay out the second night. So that's why it's became a 2-night event. The media actually has grown. It's gone from just a radio station to radio, TV, and the newspaper, who've each got a person from their facility that stays out in the box in the parking lot. And as you said, they get everyone excited about what's going to happen that next night, and we just really have a lot of fun.
Okay, and so the second night is actually when you have, what I want to say is regular Joes.
Public, yes.
Who is able to do this, and how do you make this a fundraiser? Yes, you want to raise awareness, but this is also a fundraiser to help you in your mission throughout the year.
Yes, yes, it is. We started just mainly with just a few church children and a few friends and neighbors, and as I said, it's grown from there. We have contacted all the churches in the area and surrounding community. We've talked to different groups. We actually have Kaplan Universities where we hold the event in their parking lot. They have got 3 different classes that are going to participate. We've got another community college, North Iowa Community College, and they've got a group that's going to participate, as well as youth groups from various churches. We have North Iowa Community, forgot our kids' name, North Iowa Community Youth Center has a group of kids that actually participate each year, and that has grown too. And so we're trying to bring all aspects of the event to everyone in the community, and we have different events for everyone in the community.
Okay. And do they have to pay to be able to have a box, or do people sponsor folks that are willing to sleep out, or you take donations as people drive by, or how is it that people can support what you're trying to accomplish with this event?
Well, it's mainly donations. We don't charge anything for the boxes. Those are all donated from various vendors in Mason City, McCluskey, Furniture, Sears, and Zilge's Appliance. They all save boxes for us every year. They know that we're in need. And then we supply the boxes, keep them there at the women's shelter. We've got a huge gym. Some of the kids come up there and paint them. Some of them take them home and do them at their place. But we do have quilts that are donated, and we sell those to have some means of a fundraiser. And we do have baked goods that we have there for sale. We have hats and mittens that have been donated that we sell. We will have food that is going to be served for people that want to stop by and drop off a donation and just cheer us on. We will have games provided by Girl Scouts. We'll have inflatables that are going to be provided by the North Iowa Youth Center that the kids can enjoy, and it's going to be a fun night.
Okay, very good. Now, Joey, tell us a little bit about how long you've been involved with this organization and what your role is.
Well, I've been involved since 1999, and where we started the first shelter, which was a men's shelter, and it was an emergency shelter. And then we opened up Courage Hall, and that's for veterans. And then we opened up Walter's House. And then in 2004 or 7, we opened up Trinity House of Hope, where we had the community rally around and take one of the 22 bedrooms and paint it and decorate it. And now we're going to open up Garrett's House. It's going to be a 7-bedroom facility for men that are disabled. Okay. So we've gone full circle on helping the homeless in North Iowa.
Okay. Are these facilities located in the same neighborhood, sprinkled throughout Mason City?
It's sprinkled throughout the community, but very close in proximity to each other. The Courage Hall, Walter's House, and the emergency shelters on one plot of land. And then Trinity House of Hope is at the old YWCA. We have the 2nd floor. And then Garrett House is a house that was donated. It used to be an apartment house for nurses. And so it's 7 bedrooms, and we have it all completed and dressed, and we're ready to go.
Very nice.
And we have served probably, since '99, we've probably served about 3,000 homeless people.
Oh, my goodness.
We have about 542 homeless persons as we speak in Mason City area.
Okay.
And
now, we often think of homeless people that, you know, the picture is someone sleeping under a bridge in a metropolitan urban area. They often say that homeless are hard to see in rural America, but they exist. And what are the circumstances that people find themselves in that causes homelessness?
We can find people under bridges and sleeping in cars. And the purpose or the reason why people become homeless is first, they're probably unemployed. They maybe have an illness or a drug and alcohol addiction, where they have lost their apartment or their home because of lack of payment. There's many reasons, sickness. You know, with the economy the way it is today, we've lost several jobs. And so there are people that are just really struggling. And mostly single persons and single mothers with children. We get a lot of that. And they've either gone through divorce or been incarcerated. Now they're out in the community. They have fines and things that they have to pay, so that they really do not have enough money to pay for the fines, an apartment, utilities, and so they find themselves in this destitute situation. So we hope that we can help all persons that cannot help themselves.
All right. And in your various locations that you have, what's the eligibility criteria? I mean, can anyone come in and stay? How long can they stay? What kind of services are provided to them?
Just about what I had said would be the qualifications. They knock on the door and say, I'm homeless. We bring them in, have them fill out an application. At the men's shelter, they can stay 30 days at the emergency shelter. Then they're moved back to the other 2 shelters, Walter's House and Courage Hall. They can stay there up to 2 years. And the women's shelter is a 90-day facility. If we feel that they haven't made successful stories within 90 days, then we extend their stay.
Okay. And how would you define those successful stories? And obviously, without mentioning names, can you share any of some of the successes that you've had?
We have some wonderful stories. We had one mother that had lost her children because she was a drug addict. She had gone through rehab. She had been incarcerated and then out in the community. We found her a job when she came to us. She's still in that same job, and we went to court with her, and she had saved so much money to pay off her fines and buy a car, and the judge said if I wore a hat up here, I would take my hat off to you. Then he looked at DHS and said, I want you to give her children back to her. So we got her a place to live, and she's still working, and she still has the children.
Very nice.
We have 2 persons, single mothers, that stayed at the shelter that have gone through the university, and they are in criminal justice programs. One just graduated, and with high honors, she was on the president's list for 2 semesters, which we were very, very proud of her. We have a lot of success stories, even with the men. We have some sad stories, too. We've had men to stay at the shelter that have died there, and they didn't want to leave or go to hospice, so we let them stay there. We cared for them. We even buried them. We have provided services such as medical. We get free medication, free dental, free eyeglasses, free child care, transportation. All of this is provided through our community out of the graciousness of each of the facilities that give us free, activities like that.
Very nice. Well, it sounds like you offer a lot more than just a place to sleep.
We do. We offer them opportunities to have. We have NIAC colleges, and we have an instructor comes in once a week that teaches life skills and GEDs and job descriptions and just helps with resumes and budgeting and all kinds of things to just get them back on their feet. We have a lot of vendors in our community that provide food, free food that is brought to the shelter. Some are staples, some are just prepared foods, and we are just so very blessed to be able to have an area like that in our North Iowa area to help all those that are homeless.
Well, it sounds like you have wonderful support from the community. Have you noticed, with the economic times that we've been through, an increase or a change in the types of folks that are coming to you for assistance?
We have seen an increase. At the men's shelter, like I said, that we have 20 beds over at the men's shelters. We have 22 beds at the women's, and we are full.
Full up.
We are very full. And it's all because of loss of jobs. Now, some of these people that were single had jobs, but then the companies have closed. And so they have no other place to go, and they couldn't make their rent or their car payments, and they're homeless.
All right. And what happens? Someone comes in and they stay with you for a period of time, and you mentioned you have some wonderful success stories. Can you talk a little bit about some of the partners? You've mentioned organizations such as NIAC who help you meet your mission and get these folks back on their feet.
The agencies that we're involved with is First Mercy Hospital, and they have a free clinic that we use. We have Prairie Ridge's Drug and Alcohol Treatment Center, where people go out there to, to address their needs and try to get over their addictions. We have not Red Cross, but Salvation Army. We work very closely with them. We get a lot of our referrals from Salvation Army and also from Mercy Hospital. And we also do have walk-ins that come in. And those are the resources that we tap into. The city and the county fund us. We also send out a Christmas and an Easter letter to the community, and that's how we survive, is on funds that are used or given to us through the community. Yes.
In addition to this support from other organizations and financial contributions from citizens, are there opportunities to volunteer at your facility?
We have a lot of volunteers that come to the shelter. In fact, we just had a new one this morning come in. And I want to say that the churches, we stress a lot of volunteers from churches. All of the churches in our community volunteer. And so they'll either come and dress a bedroom, or they'll come and have sort of like a social group. And anyone that wants to participate can participate then. So we are covered completely, I think, by all of the resources and agencies in our community.
Very nice. Well, and it sounds like you had another successful event that helped raise awareness for this. And so if folks are interested in finding out a little bit more about your organization or how they can perhaps help and participate next year, what kind of contact information do you have for them? How can they get a hold of you?
They can reach us at Trinity House of Hope, 2 South Adams, Mason City, Iowa, 641-423-5920.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you, ladies, for coming in and visiting with us. Homelessness does exist in the rural part of our regions, and these gals are just a small part of the solution, and they're finding great success stories. So thank you so much for your work, and thank you for being here and telling us about it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, stay tuned for more Cities on the Move.
Meet Mayor Ted Radke. Ted has been the mayor of Hollandale, Minnesota for 19 years. He and his wife Bertie and their daughter Megan, now grown, moved to Hollandale from Byron, Minnesota. As mayor, Ted recently presided over the opening of a new government center which also houses Riceland Township Hall. He enjoys living in Hollandale because of the good neighbors who care. When he was a child, Ted thought he would grow up to be a farmer. He's right at home in this farming community.
Nobel Peace Prize winner Dr. Norman Borlaug traveled the world developing new agronomy techniques to help feed some of the poorest nations. He grew up on a small farm near Cresco, Iowa. Let's visit this farm and learn more about this distinguished man.
Throughout the region, many people go about their business, working hard, making a difference in the lives of their community. One such person from Cresco, Iowa did just that, on a grand scale. Dr. Norman Borlaug worked hard and made a difference for billions of people around the world. Born in 1914 on a farm outside of Cresco, Dr. Borlaug went on to conduct cutting-edge research in agronomy. Kenneth Becker is a board member of the Dr. Norman Borlaug Heritage Foundation. This organization works to preserve Dr. Borlaug's childhood farm, among other goals.
The mission is actually threefold. The foundation was founded primarily initially to keep the farmstead in a good condition and as a period piece for people to come and take a look and see Dr. Borlaug's early life and what it was like in growing up in rural Iowa. Secondly, we have an education program where we invite students to come out and learn about Dr. Borlaug, tour the farmstead, and then we also go into schools. Thirdly, we have a scholarship program that has been low-key at this point. We just haven't had the funding that we wanted. We were hopeful of having a major scholarship operation nationally.
Growing up in rural Iowa in the 1920s required a great deal of hard work.
Dr. Borlaug was born about a mile away from here, and he moved to this farm as a youngster, probably around 10 or 11 years old. His dad built this house, and he spent his youth here up through high school. His early life was simple. They had very little electrical, even gas engines. Everything was done by hand. There was no electricity here in the farmstead until the 40s, till after World War II. But even gas engines were rare, so everything, they milked the cows by hand and they cooled the milk by hand. The man that came and picked up the milk came with horses and hauled it away. And they were very, very frugal. They were not wealthy. In fact, they were the opposite of wealthy. Dr. Borlaug did a lot of trapping, in part because he could sell the skins for a little bit of money, but also they needed the food, and they had large gardens. Back in the 20s and 30s, farming was tough work in Iowa and throughout the whole Midwest. It took a lot of labor and labor-intensive, a lot of long days. And of course, their school being a mile away, they had to walk it, and they had no buses or anything like that. So life was tough back in the 20s and 30s and even into the 40s.
After graduating from Cresco High School, Dr. Borlaug set off for the University of Minnesota to pursue forestry.
He originally went into forestry, and he had a professor at college at the university who told him that forestry was a dead-end industry at that time. But then he went back to the university to get a master's degree, and at that time he decided to change majors and went into agronomy instead of forestry. Then after he went and worked out east, and after he did that, he came back to the University of Minnesota and got a PhD in agronomy. Then eventually he was hired by the Rockefeller Foundation because the country of Mexico was in a major hurt with their wheat problems.
This work became his life's passion, for which he received the Nobel Peace Prize, among other accolades.
I think if I had to describe Dr. Borlaug in any one word, it would be tenacious, because he would go and hand-pollinate each individual plant, and there would be acres and acres and acres, and he would be on his hands and knees pollinating these wheat plants, and then find out that then none of them worked. And then he'd have to do it all over again, and then do it all over again, and do it all over again. And he just did it for years and years and years. There have been a couple of different authors that have said that Dr. Borlaug's notoriety in the world is that he has saved 1 billion lives. Not 1 million, but 1 billion lives. Dr. Borlaug has been recognized by the United States and worldwide. He received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970. The presidential citation was given to him in 1977. And in 2007, he received the Congressional Award.
In order to do their part to honor Dr. Borlaug, the foundation has put their heart into restoration of the farm to the year 1927. The community also honors Dr. Borlaug with an annual festival. Dr. Borlaug passed away in September of 2009. The community of Cresco, Iowa is proud to call him a native son. For more information about touring the boyhood farm of Dr. Borlaug, you can contact the Cresco, Iowa Chamber of Commerce at 563-547-3434.
Cities on the Move is on the web. Make a comment, ask a question, or share your good idea by visiting our website at ksmq.org.
There are so many fun things to do around the region, and here are a few that you may want to consider. There will be a Halloween hike at the Lime Creek Nature Center. It's a night hike through the Lime Creek Nature Trail where woods come alive with interesting creatures and their environmental messages. Groups will be led by a trail guide for this 45-minute tour with refreshments afterwards. Admission is $3 and reservations are required. Visit cerro-gordo.iowa.us for more information. The swans are coming. Large concentrations of tundra swans arrive at various lakes near Winona until they become frozen, and then the swans move on. Join one of the many tundra swan watches and also see puddle ducks, blue herons, egrets, and eagles. For more information, check out visitwinona.com. Gustavus Adolphus will be hosting a special event about Halloween creatures on October 29th. Spiders, snakes, bats, and wolves. These creatures are forever ingrained in society as menacing and scary, but do we really know the truth about them? Arboretum naturalist Bob Dunlap addresses these animals and evaluates the myths surrounding their spooky nature. For more information, visit GreaterMankatoEvents.com. If you have an event that you would like to share with our viewers, log on to our website, ksmq.org, and post your information today.
Cities on the Move is on the web. Make a comment, ask a question, or share your good idea by visiting our website at ksmq.org.
Next week on Cities on the Move, we'll learn more about the adoption process and the many children that are looking for a loving home. We'll also take a trip back in time to the fur traders era when we visit the Big Island Rendezvous. Please join us Tuesday, October 20th at 6:30 p.m. on KSMQ for another edition of Cities on the Move. I'm your host, Stephanie Passingham. Good night.
Production of this program is made possible in part through a grant from the Blandon Foundation.